This is Cult versus Marketing Week 4. Today we start pivoting away from cults and start talking about marketing. Specifically, what we're talking about is brand communities. Now, you may have heard of brand cults before, and brand cults come after brand communities. Brand communities started being discussed in the literature in the early 2000s. And there are three key points to brand communities. Those are shared consciousness, rituals and traditions, and a sense of moral responsibility. So I'm going to break each of those down for you, and then I'm going to end by talking a little bit about the importance of community and how very different this was to think about creating community around a commodity product. When we talk about shared community, it's also known as consciousness of kind, and it's this idea of we-ness. We know the people who are like us. And more importantly, we know those people who aren't like us. So in a brand community, while people may feel connected to the brand, it's more important that they feel a connection to other people related to the brand. What you've heard me talk about here before, it's not that you're buying a product, you're buying those thoughts and relationships and mythologies that are related to the product. And as one scholar named Kova said, the link is more important than the thing. The link is more important than the thing. So it's not about buying a product that you're going to use. It's your connection to the product. And particularly when you're talking about a product or a brand that creates a community, it's about all of those other things around the product. Connected to that idea of we-ness is what's known as oppositional brand loyalty, meaning that you are very loyal to the brand that you like and very against the ones that you don't. I'm Dunkin' or Starbucks, I'm Apple or I'm PC, right? And so defining yourselves by what your brand is, you also define yourself by what your brand is not. Brand communities also have rituals and traditions, just like religions do. This is perpetuated through the idea of brand histories and sharing the history of the brand. So if you think of something like Apple, people talk about Steve Jobs like he's this god. People who are really into Disney know every story, everything about the creation of Disney World, right? And all of those stories are shared with other people to help them to understand what is the history of the brand community. What's different in a brand community as opposed to a real life community, because brand communities happen primarily in the online space and not offline, is some of those stories are created and certainly perpetuated by the brand through the advertising and marketing that is perpetuated around the product. And the third part, moral responsibility, is about teaching others how they're supposed to act in relationship to this brand community and bringing them on board and helping keep them connected to both the brand and the community. Now, why do we talk about community at all when it relates to cults and to marketing? The reason why is that there are other places in our society where we aren't having community in the way that we used to. A prime example of this is Robert Putnam's Bowling Alone. Robert Putnam has been in the news a whole lot more recently, and the idea of bowling alone is being looked at again and again. Now, if I was teaching at the graduate level, we would look at bowling alone, and I may do a separate video about Robert Putnam. But for the purposes of this, what you need to understand is that it's not that we don't believe in something or we don't want to believe in something. It's not that because we're not practicing in institutional religion that we don't want community. People still want community. And what happened when those traditional institutions sort of abdicated their roles in that way, the market came in to fill the void. And so these brand communities became places and spaces where people could find that community. And it was perpetuated by the consumer marketplace. But it's also interesting to think about this in relationship to how marketing works to turn us into individuals. So there's this real tension that's going on here. What's also interesting to think about is that given the time that we are living in right now, one of the ways that people are talking about in order to be able to push back against the authoritarianism that is coming our way is to re-engage with community, to be part of a community. So if you've been part of a community online, now it's time to figure out how to do that in real life. And part of the difference between doing it in real life versus bowling alone is that you have to deal with people face to face. You have to deal with people that you can't walk away from. You have to deal with people that you can't push a button and make them disappear. And I think it's that relearning how to do that, relearning how to have empathy, that is going to be really important as we move forward. Next time, we're going to be taking the jump from brand community to brand cult, and we'll start jumping into the actual commercial brands. And I'm sure you have all kinds of ideas of what we may talk about. We're going to be talking about CrossFit as one of them. As a reminder to you, if you are looking for the syllabus for this course, it is on my blog at this URL. I update it every week and I add what we're reading week by week. I also put in links in there for articles that you can read and also for videos you might be interested in watching.